Alright, so everything still stands from like kind of the things that we've talked about prior. So when you're looking at this, like what's oh, oopsies.
Yeah, I will say this game is from 6 days ago, so I don't know if it's not fresh in my head.
That's okay. I mean, you can still learn from a VOD review whether it's like directly fresh or not.
Yeah.
Um, so let's just talk this out. When you look at your lane versus their lane, what do you see? What sticks out to you?
Um, well, we've countered them in Summoners, Ignite versus Heal,
Yep,
as well as we have a lot of CC
yep.
and
So,
those
what
two, yeah.
are your windows to fight in this lane?
Either when Zaya blows her E, her pull and feathers,
Okay.
or when Nautilus goes for an engage and I can follow up
Yep, so
at level
key
6.
cooldowns, key CC are both really important things to track when you're playing AD carry 100%. The other thing to think about is your level spikes. So AD carries always scale better with items normally instead of levels, depends on who you're playing. But what's really important is to know like where your biggest level advantage is. So level 1, you could 100% kill both of these people
Yeah.
because you've got two forms of CC. You're slow passively, plus your attack steroid, and they have like Zaya has no combat ability level 1, less than you even, especially since you're running press the attack. Um, so level 1, level 3, maybe, probably not. So this is like your golden zone. This is kind of
It's even.
questionable. Yeah, even.
Yeah.
And then level 6 is also 100% your golden zone. Because the thing
Yeah.
is Zaya can ult to like stop Nautilus ult or to stop your ult, but like after she ults and she's up in the air and she's coming down, you can Ashe arrow and you should be able to hit her. You know what I mean? Or just don't even go for the Zaya, just kill the Janna, you know?
Yeah. I was
Uh,
wondering, yeah.
go
There are
go
some
for it.
questions that I had, but I guess those will come up when we get to the thing.
Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so let's just kind of get going here. Put the fog on. And let's just start out. Okay, so we're gonna invade. If you're gonna invade with a Nautilus, what you wanna do, especially if you're gonna do this angle, is you come down through mid, and then you come around this wall because it hugs fog.
Yeah. I
Put,
just followed him.
yeah, I'm pretty sure
Uh,
you knew that, but just in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
case
No, no,
you
for sure.
didn't, go in. I also think that sometimes it's really dangerous to do this because Nautilus is such a, like, people know he's going to invade, so a lot of times what happens is they stack a bush and you actually lose the invade.
Yeah, I don't like invading, but I don't like being that guy that doesn't participate.
Yeah, I hear
But
you.
yeah.
Okay, so let's see what happens. They get you out of bush. Okay, so here we should talk about this right out the gate. So we know that we have kill pressure level 1, right? And let's
I
kind of,
didn't at the game, but that's good to know.
yep. It just depends like on who you're playing. Like if you're playing Draven, yeah,
Yeah.
fight level 1, fight level 2. You know what I mean? So this is good. You get that right here. You should be like you have no reason to be kiting back here because your
It's,
support is playing up. You know what I mean?
yeah. I guess my first thought was, yeah, I thought we didn't win. So that was,
Yeah, that's fair.
yep. So I was playing back.
Right? And now you get that. Yeah, this Nautilus is, I mean, he's wild, but I actually like this play a lot, even though he kind of burned all of his sums, because now she has no pots, and he's just gonna burn all of his pots and get back up. So this is something to talk about when you're an AD carry. Um, so first off, like, you know you don't dictate the lane, right? So because you know that you don't dictate the lane, in my opinion, when it comes to AD carry, this is how it goes. You back off. If your AD, but if your support is going forward, you're going forward.
Yeah.
And then like, kind of watch this play out, right? So like you should be going forward to trade on him. And then right there, now Nautilus is going back, that's fine. This is fine, this is fine. Alright, so right here, it looks like you canceled the auto, but like you have to trade back on Jono when she does that.
Yeah, that's 100% fair.
If your like support is gonna play up and play aggressive for you and do their job, then you have to at that point then you have to like
No.
support him. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah.
being confident and he's taking the risk for you. So you
Mhm.
have to make sure that you protect him by staying present in the trades. You're not
Yeah.
gonna protect him by like body tanking for him, but it's just by like being present. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now this is a little tricky because Nautilus wants to play in an extended lane state. He doesn't want to play close to their tower. So one of the best
Yeah,
things
so I'm
you
trying
could
to
do...
shove and bounce, right?
No. So interesting point that you make here. So if you... Let's watch this, right? Watch what happens. This wave is pushing out to you.
Yes.
It's already pushing out to you. So you don't actually need to crash this. It's coming to you because Zaya cleared those 3 minions too fast.
Yeah.
So now all you have to do is slow down and just last hit. If you match autos like you're doing, the wave won't move.
Yeah. Yeah. I end up shoving to them.
Well, that's okay. It's just something to notice, like, there's a difference between, like, matching autos and not matching autos. Like, here, it's good that you're trading back when he's walking up. Now you're in, like, a really difficult place because your, like, advantage has kind of been lost. Yeah, when she walks up like that, that's perfect.
Yeah, I was trying to poke her, yep. And he missed his hook, so not much to do.
Yeah, it's okay. You back off a little bit. She's gonna keep doing that because that's what Janna does. You do want to be autoing the wave as much as you can in instances like this because you don't want them to build a stacked wave. You can still clear out that wave partially just by autoing it. Plus, you have a Doran's blade, so you want like the healing.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. My thought, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
It's okay to let it crash. There's nothing wrong with that, but like, don't give them too much for free. You know what I mean? You want to be respectful, but you don't want to let them like roll over you either.
Yeah.
Okay, this is fine. Now here, you should be hard shoving this because you know that they reset.
Yeah, I guess I just thought it was a cannon wave, so by the time it took me to push it, they'd be back, right?
Yes, but let's watch what happens because you back here.
Because it bounces, it pushes towards them.
It's not even just that. You miss an entire cannon wave. You miss 7 minions worth of experience, and you miss your cannon. You know what I mean? What's up, Don?
Your girlfriend is sending me photos of Tokyo Revenger cosplays.
That's okay. I'm doing a coaching session with Malik right now. So pretty much, right? Like now you're in a really awkward spot because not only are you down in gold, right?
Yeah.
If we check the gold, you're down in gold by 100. More importantly, you're down in XP pretty substantially.
Yeah.
You know,
I was wondering why that was.
It's because you didn't take the cannon wave. And you can just spam ping the Nautilus there to shove that cannon wave with you. And even if you don't get all the CS, that's okay. It's mostly about like not missing the experience. Now you'll catch up in experience. This is good, this is good. Alright, let's watch that fight and see what happens here. And why it kind of like goes bad. So what happens is he gets a good hook. And we just kind of eat everything is the problem here. So, if we go back, and we watch this
correct
fight...
play to space Zaya?
The correct play isn't necessarily to space Zaya, it's to respect what's happening, right? So, we're here, right? Now watch what happens. We're gonna slow down the play and just play very, like, reactively. Okay. Where's Zaya throwing her autos?
On me.
on you. Is there any angle, like if we take a pie chart and we cut it, right? And this is Zaya. Here's where our autos are, right?
Hmm.
If she's gonna pull, is there any angle in here where she can pull those and hit you?
No.
So you need to be auto, you need to be
Walk-ins.
kiting, right? There's nothing wrong with like this fight. It's perfectly fine. You would have gotten sums and probably been able to still live.
Oh, so I died because I didn't move below the weight of the feathers.
You died because you didn't kite. You didn't attack move, right? Because like, if it seems so minimal in the moment, but like when we go back and we watch this at like, we'll watch it at like half speed, right? Hook, great trade, great trade. Auto comes out, you should move. Auto comes out, you should move. But instead you move up, and because you move up, you get wiped. Right?
Okay.
Now this is just like awkward. It's unfortunate. Yeah. The other thing is that like you're fighting right now, and you're fighting at an item disadvantage, right? Because she's got 2 long swords.
Yeah.
And this is before she spent her gold.
Yeah, I think I made a mistake of trying to go boots 2 instead of just going into Kraken or something.
Boots is fine if you're gonna use them, but you didn't move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can speed up a little bit here. So if we're talking about this lane right now, and everything that's going on, what is your plan? Like when you look at the gold, right? You're down 1,000 gold. So what should you and Nautilus pretty much be doing at this point?
Playing like a pussy. Oh, sorry. Playing safe.
Yep. You play back here, you play under this tower, and then you wait for Nautilus to like land a hook, land an ult, and then you follow up with your ult and you try to blow someone up. You cannot fight an extended wave states or an extended lane states right now at all, unless you
I'm
get
so
some
behind.
sort of like, unless you get some crazy outplay. Because
Crazy outplay
realistically,
or the jungler ganks. Yeah.
yeah, because realistically, well, the best thing you can do for the jungler to gank is play under your tower. Let them overextend. But if you try to make some like wild play here, okay, so this is, let's talk about this. Let's go back a little bit. Alright, so we're moving up here. You know Nautilus is roaming. You're trying to get this wave in. I get it. Alright, you get hit with this. Yep, you're running. This is fine. I get the, yeah, I think it's fine to save your flash here. Nautilus is here. Yep. Yep, this is good. This is good trading back. Don't give them anything for free. Do you have, let's check. You have a ward. You should be putting it right here.
Yeah, I was just worried Graves was still over there and I was gonna get
Yep.
bursted because Nautilus just flashed and I was playing safe.
Yep, you do it. You wait a good
Yeah.
amount of time and then you put it down, which is the right call, because what you want to do is you want to make sure you're not going to get dived here, because if you're not getting dived, then you can collect the CS when it comes in.
Yeah, 100%.
If this Zaya and Janna were actually like really, really good bot laners and very smart, what they would have done is back here, where you couldn't shove that wave in, they may have tried
Froze
to
it.
freeze it, yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was unfortunate, but Nautilus roamed and I was like, I need to try and push
Yep,
this otherwise.
okay, so
I
let's
could.
talk about this. Right here, you get this auto. Okay. Now, let's talk about this. What is this minion worth? Okay. In comparison to these minions.
Nothing.
Not much, right?
Yeah.
What is something else that's very important right now when I show you this scene outside of like the wave states? Because if you're Zaya
My
in this
HP?
situation and you're Janna in this situation, what do you think Ashe is gonna do?
If you're ask the question again.
So if you're Zaya and Janna, what do you think Ashe is gonna do? I kind of gave
Go
you a
for
hint.
the CS?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then what are you gonna do? You're
Go
gonna
for the CS and then
punish the
yeah,
crap
yeah,
out of her, right?
Yeah, ideally, yes.
Yeah. What's the one other aspect you see in this scene that you've lost track of?
Where Nautilus is. And oh, she's level 6. Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
right? Like, if these people were better and really knew what they were doing, you could have been in big trouble here, right? And that's fine, right? It
Yeah.
works out. You're still under tower, but like, it's just that unnecessary risk for that one CS that like you really want to be careful about doing stuff like that, because it's like, well, what am I sacrificing potentially to get that CS? You know, like, is it really
Yeah.
worth it? Now they're gonna shove this in. You're backing. It's a reset. It's fine. You and your support's resets are kind of desynced. It is what it is. They slow push this, which is a miracle for you. Okay. And you have a gank coming in. Okay, good. You did exactly what we talked about, like, originally, except this time you, like, actually did it, right? And
Yeah.
then,
And I
yeah,
moved out of the way of the arrows. Yeah, so they didn't hit
perfect.
me.
And it makes
Yeah.
a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
You get the kill, you don't miss the wave. Cho'Gath's going kind of crazy. Yeah, that's great. That's great. All right, now let's
You're
talk
supposed
about
to flame your
what.
Cho'Gath here for stealing the kill.
Let's talk about what is the right call, like, after this, right?
Mhm.
We can look at the gold and everything for a second. She's sitting on 1,200. You're sitting on 400. You're still behind 1,000 gold right now. But like, what do you think the right thing to do is right now?
Shove the turret and back.
Yes, correct. 100%. Yep. Yep, and it's good that you don't waste any time and you get out immediately. Something else we should talk about if you're going to start playing Ashe, though, you need to be shooting your hawk shots when they're up all the way across the map like this.
Yes, yeah.
Because
I need to do that more.
for all you know, Graves is about to ult right out of fog. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like, it'd be great if he didn't, but he might. You don't know. You know what I mean? And it's free information. It costs you nothing. Just use it. You know?
I
Even
pretty
if...
much exclusively play Ashe when there's just another CC port.
Yep, that's a very small, like, champion-specific micro thing, right?
Yeah.
And now, like, you've got a gank. It's good. But when we hit tab, what do you see?
I hit tab. I see she has finished her collector, and I am very behind in items.
So we still really don't want to fight, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, what can happen is people will, like, start playing and they'll, like, oh, get back in the game, and then they're like, oh, dude, we got a great gank, we're back in the game, and it's like, no, you're not back in the game. You're still very, very, very behind. So it's good to just be mindful, because this is how, right, like, even if... Okay, so let's watch this. You know that she's bot. You know your support's back in base. So, like, what was the thought process here?
I don't remember. I think I was just trying to deny the ward, and I wasn't looking at Zaya's positioning.
Yeah, which happens, but, like, the more important thing is that, like, it's not necessarily Zaya's positioning, because Zaya could have been in river, Zaya could have been in lane, but the more important thing is you're being disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reason it's disrespectful is because no matter where Zaya is in this bot lane right now, that's a 1v2, right?
Yeah.
So that's just, like, that's where I think that, like, the biggest mistake is because, like, if you didn't know where Zaya was at all, it would be different, but, like, you saw her on the wave bot.
Yeah. I just figured she, you know, I forgot that they changed this tower.
That's
right? On the other
an
side.
awesome ult.
Yeah, that was awesome. But I forget now on this new map that she can run up the side there without taking her shot. Right, because they changed the map.
Right, you get farm. There's something that we do need to talk about here, though, is, like, so, and this is something that's really, really important when you're behind, and I need to work on this too. This is something that, like, I constantly beat myself up over. Right? Okay, so let's watch this. right? We got 3 of these minions.
Yeah.
You're 26 CS behind. When you're not contested, it is better to go slow and guarantee you get like the gold than shove it into tower fast, right? Because like for all intents and purposes, unless they do something insane, you've lost lane already. So your goal is to stabilize and come back late game. You have to make sure you're getting like free CS in these kind of instances.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't want to get caught in the slow push situation
Yeah,
where
which is fair, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those situations where it's like you can't. This is another instance of like, okay, you walk up here. Remember when we talked about like the support dictates, right?
yeah.
He misses his hook. You're still walking forward. This is insane. You know, like you don't get heavy punished for it because Janna's not good, but if Janna was good, she would have W'd you, and then Graves would have poked you, and then they would have just set up a dive.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing drag as like the trade and everything. Also, something to keep in mind is like you're worried about the slow push and like the freeze, but you've watched these people; they haven't frozen all game.
Yeah.
So chances are they don't know how. Now, I'm not saying you should assume that about like everybody you're fighting, but
Yeah.
it's just something to pay attention to. Okay,
Yep.
so
So I knew that for a fact that I looked after, you know, the Zaya's not like really good or anything. I think I just played things in the lane wrong.
that's a great ult. Okay, so let's talk about this fight. This is something that's really important when you're playing AD carries like Ashe, like Caitlyn, any AD carry that doesn't have like mobility built into their kit, right? This becomes a very, very key principle. So this engage happens. We're going into the fight. We're in the fight. It's great. Alright, Brand is opening up another pretty much like angle for the fight and everything. You're backing up. Staying in the fight. Staying in the fight. This is fine. Okay, so here, this is great, but you cannot go after this kill.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, you can go after the Janna, or you can go after the Graves. When you're playing an AD carry who doesn't have like built-in mobility, and you've used your like hard CC ability, you have to space off of the closest person. So this
Closest threat.
zone,
Yeah.
right? You can't space off of Xayah who's over here, because when you do that, you're gonna go pretty much right through here, and you're gonna get absolutely blown up. This happens all the time, even when AD carries are really, really ahead in like lower elos. They're spacing. They think that their job is to do damage to like the carries. It's not your job to do damage to your carries. It's your job to space off of the front line, wherever the front line is, and then as long as you space correctly off of the front line, you do consistent damage.
That makes sense. What's it called? I actually lost this game from that principle, so
Yep.
something I need to get better at.
So, like, and right, like, there's a potential that maybe if you space correctly, that you don't die there. It's just unfortunate because it's a really good fight, and then it could have been a 2-for-1, you know, rather than a 2-for-2. And a lot of times it's hard when you're playing with champions like a Nautilus because they can go so deep so fast that you want to follow them. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like playing with a Pike or a Rakan. Like, you gotta be careful following your support sometimes because they can very easily, like, bait you unintentionally.
Especially if I don't have mobility, yeah.
Exactly. Good hawk shot, throwing it out. I think roaming up to the drag here is 100% correct. And then let's watch.
You gotta get Moby boots, then you'll have mobility.
Let's watch
True.
what happens after here. Alright, so I think roaming up to the drag is fine here because you know Xayah's bot, right? You have your... Right? And then you do it correct here, right? We're spacing off of the front line, we're backing up. And then in this instance, right, we get vision down, that's great. We're just poking. You don't have a way back into bot lane here unless you go all the way around. Good.
Sure do.
Good that you're respecting Frog. This guy is, yeah, like, this is stupid. It's so disrespectful. Okay, great. And now they're being disrespectful. It's a shame you don't have ult. Still great, though. The flash is a little aggressive. And here's why I think the flash is, like, a little aggressive, right? So,
I just felt like I was behind, and I felt like I wanted to try and make a play.
right, true.
Which is not my job.
You flash. Is you flashing here gonna kill this guy or secure anything?
It was more of a guess. I guess it was just the slow. Maybe Nautilus could follow up with a hook in like 4 seconds when his thing is up.
Yeah. Your slow's still on him before you flash. I mean, you refresh it. But I think Nautilus, like, you still space correctly and let Nautilus do, like, his job, per se.
Yeah.
It does end up working out, but, like, it works out because the enemy team's disjointed. You know what I mean? Because, like, if we go back and we watch this, in my opinion, if you flash here and the Xayah isn't bad, because she missed these two, you should die there. And Xayah has flash. Like, that's Xayah being bad, and that's like why you live and she dies, but it's kind of hard to justify the play. I don't think it's super bad playing aggressive when you're behind because you want to get back in the game, but like I said, you still want to stabilize. So like, you don't want to do anything to the point where like you might die and lose your like ability to get XP and gold right now for like 1 kill.
Yeah.
Now, if Xayah has like a massive shutdown, might be different. This is a good time to reset. I agree with this. Okay, so this is like the first 15 minutes. I don't think we're gonna go in depth on much else. And I would kind of break it into like 3 points right now that I'm seeing. Number 1 is planning for laning phase in the same way where like you plan for your ganks as a jungler. So you plan your lane, and then you follow your support, right? Whether that's forward or back, right? Like if you have a super passive support, guess you're playing super passive. Even if you have the winning lane, like you can't face roll your lanes if you're playing something like Ashe until you're level 6, because otherwise you'll die, and then your support's gonna flame you, and the relationship breaks down and everything. It's better to go even in farm and lose first tower than to go 0-5 and lose first tower. You know what I mean? Number 2 is just CS. Like, we're missing a lot of CS. If you can't trade, don't worry about it. Don't trade, and just focus on getting your CS up, right? It's okay, right? Like, and like if somebody freezes on you, it'll suck, but like that's, you can't afford to miss CS just because you're scared that like they're gonna freeze on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily like you can't fast shove. You can still fast shove. It's just a matter of fast shoving, but being patient around the last hits. And then the third thing that I would say is probably the most relevant right now for you is just spacing off of the closest person. So when you're playing immobile AD carries, it's always going to be like, if this is the position of the enemies, right? You're spacing off of, and this is you're spacing off of this person. Not these people. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what champions they're playing. You always have to space off of the immediate threat. Even if it's like a support, because what'll happen sometimes is like AD carries will move up because they're like, oh, it's just a support, and then you get CC'd right here, and you get blown up.
Yeah.
You know? So those are probably like the 3 things that I would say would be like good areas to start to work on. You'll learn more of the lane matchups and everything like as the game goes on.
Yep.
But that's kind of what I would go with to start.
Okay.